Hello! Who is excited for Act 2 of Heresy? Bungie devs ended up doing a live stream to show us exactly what's to come for the next update. So let's get to it. I hope they show us something for the next upcoming DLC. Oh, that would be so cool. Oh, it started.
Guardians,
Let's
hello.
go!
It's good to see you all again. Welcome back to beautiful Bungie HQ here in Bellevue, Washington, where we come to you from a crisp, cold morning to share a little bit of what's to come with Heresy Act 2, and just for fun, a little bit of a sneak peek to what's to come with Act 3 as well. My name's Andy. I work on the social media team here, and worry not, we've got, as usual, an amazing cast of guests to go ahead and walk through some of the finer details of what you're going to be seeing today. So, as always, there's no time like the present. Let's go ahead and dive on in and get them introduced so we can go ahead and show you what we got in store. Here, sitting to my left, up first, is someone who, if you joined us last time, is someone that you may have already known. Rather, sorry, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure we get right into your intro. Someone that you may already know, narrative architect here at Bungie, the one and only Mr. Nico Stevens. Nico, how's it going today, man?
It's going great. Thanks for having me, Andy. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well, thank you. I appreciate it. So for anyone that maybe didn't join us last time or isn't aware of what a narrative architect does, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Sure. So like I said, my name's Nico Stevens. I'm narrative architect at Bungie. I've been here since Season of Dawn, and basically I contribute to all of the stories that people play through, whether it's text, lore, gun names, building out the actual beats of the story. And as the architect, more recently, what I've been doing is kind of putting together the player journey, as we call it, that the player experiences as they go through the beats of like a main campaign.
Yeah, so you're tugging our heartstrings.
I bet you guys he knows exactly what's happening with Eris, and I'm kind of jealous.
Months in advance at times. Oh. Excellent. Well, thank you. It's been a lot of heartstring tugging so far this episode. Sitting next to him, we have a new face joining us today, a senior designer here at Bungie, Quentin Quinones-Rezin. Quentin, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here on the couch.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time to join us. This is your first time joining us, so really quickly, second verse same as the first. For anyone that doesn't know you or doesn't get the privilege of working with you here at Bungie, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Sure. Yeah, I am an activity designer. I've been with Bungie since the Beyond Light expansion, and I've worked on, for example, the Altars of Summoning activity in Season of the Witch, and the Breach executable from episode Echoes.
Very exciting. And of course, some more stuff we'll be diving into here just very shortly. And then, of course, sitting just next to him, a man that is a friend to all Guardian kind and needs no introduction. So we're not going to give him one. Let's go into the show. I'm just kidding. Sitting next to him is, of course, the incomparable one and only Mr. Dylan Gaffner, Global Community Lead here at Bungie. Dylan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for your 15-minute Rick Kakis intro. I'm very much looking forward to it.
I tried to edit it down, as you can tell. So for anyone that may not have worked with you or your team in the wild world of social media, or is just somehow meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Yeah, so Dylan Gaffner, DMGO4, as many know, Breadmaster, the guy that says we're listening. Yeah, ultimately, I'm a community lead here for Destiny, top of the team, where we run all the TWIDs, we make sure Guardians are informed, we take your feedback, pass it along to the dev team. But most importantly, we try to act as like the seat at the table for players. So if there's feedback, if there's conversation around something, or, oh, hey, excitement around activities, we make sure that voice is heard in all the meetings that we go to.
Excellent. Well, thank you, as always, for being a voice of the player here in our hallowed halls. We do appreciate it. And in addition to these fine folks, we're also going to have some other folks joining us throughout the show. It's a pretty jam-packed one, so we'll make sure to introduce them as they come along. But worry not, that's just not me summoning them into existence. We have a ton of folks here to show you what's in store. So let's go ahead and kick things off. Nico, I'd love to go ahead and start with you. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and be concluding Act 1 of episode Heresy here very briefly and leading into Act 2. Before we kick off Act 2, can you just tell us a little bit about what got us here today?
Yeah, so as people who've been playing know, we had an Echo that came from the Pale Heart, came screaming out from the death of the Witness, slammed into the Dreadnaught. This revivified Oryx in the form of the Echo of Navigation. We found that during the finale of our first act, and over the course of searching for it, we delved deeper into the Dreadnaught, started uncovering taken powers, and we met an enemy of the Dread who has taken something from us.
Interesting. And also, in addition to our enemies, there's an ally of ours that had a very difficult start to the story. Are we going to be seeing more of Eris's story as we dive into Act 2?
Yeah, so let's see. So
I
back in
hope
Act
so.
1, anybody who's playing through that first mission,
Yeah.
you recognize that we had to change Eris's class designation from Lightless Hunter to Shish Kebab.
How dare you?
But in Act 2, you're going to be hearing some whispers from beyond the veil as you're going through Nether, as you're going through Court, and as you're exploring those activities and exploring the Dreadnaught more, you're going to be picking up some of these messages and hopefully being able to reach beyond that and see what's on the other side. And for our eagle-eyed players who played through the first act and saw that cutscene where Eris died, they see her wake up in this ascendant world, very much resembling a throne world.
Yeah, there's been some educated guesses in that
Let's
direction,
go!
but obviously there will be a
I'm
lot
so
of lore to dive
excited.
into. So, Vase, if you're out there, maybe you can help us out and kind of tell us a little bit more about what's to come.
Still very mad about what
Excellent.
happened,
So that
though.
sets the stage, but we're also going to go ahead and dive into an activity here. We've got some gameplay ready to show on screen. Quentin, we've got a new activity that we're going to go ahead and release with Act 2. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Court of Blades is?
Sure. Yeah, Court of Blades. When we were talking about bringing back the Dreadnaught, obviously we're going to pay some sort of homage to the fan favorite activity, the Court of Oryx, that occurred in this space. But we wanted to freshen it up. We wanted to explore, what does Destiny look like right now? And so taking that and adding to that, that a lot of the activities recently have been sort of longer form, maybe a little stressful. We wanted to create a shorter, quicker activity that folks can just come and slay out for 10 minutes and have fun.
Hell
So,
yeah.
as we
I
go
like
ahead and
that.
check out the Court of Blades, there's a lot of new augments available to players too. Actually, if we can really quickly look, there's some hive statues around. Can you tell us about the augments that players are going to have available to them as they go ahead and try and build their loadout for this activity?
Sure, yeah. What we wanted to do was wanted to take some inspiration from the sort of roguelike things that we've been exploring over the last couple of years with Destiny, making sure that each run feels unique and challenging in its own way. And so what we've borrowed the concept of augmentations from Onslaught, so players will see those, and they're a little different in this case where they provide challenges that players may be able to overcome in other ways.
I guess I should have read it. Confront immune blade bearers to obtain swords that strip a challenger's protection.
So they're simple mechanically. A single player could go and complete the augmentation, but you might be able to just DPS the boss, pop your super, that sort of a thing, as a way to overcome that challenge. In addition,
That's cool. I like the sound of it so far. Yeah.
got
I like the sound of
sort
it
of
so
a
far.
randomized set of armaments that players will be able to purchase between phases that will allow them to combat those challenges a little bit.
All right, I say we unleash our fire team here as we continue to go ahead and sort of explore what this has to offer rather. But
yeah, so we had an echo that came from the Pale Heart, revivified, delved in
addition to our enemies
of the Dread, who has taken something from us.
Interesting. And also, in addition to our enemies, there's an ally of ours that had a very difficult start to the story.
You have no idea how mad I am at the devs for what happened in the first act in the storyline. I don't know what's supposed to happen after this, and I dang well know that some of these do know, and I really want to know. Man, the first act made me so sad. It was good, but it made me sad and mad.
Are we going to be seeing more of Eris's story as we dive into Act 2?
Yeah, so let's see. So back in Act 1, anybody who's playing through that first mission, you recognize that we had to change Eris's class designation from Lightless Hunter to Shish Kebab.
How dare you?
And,
What the frick?
but in Act 2, you're going to be hearing some whispers from beyond the veil as you're going through Nether, as you're going through Court, and as you're exploring those activities and exploring the Dreadnaught more, you're going to be picking up some of these messages and hopefully being able to reach beyond that and see what's on the other side. And for
Ooh. Wait, could that be... Okay, wait. Okay, spoiler alert. But when the stuff happened to Eris, she ended up going somewhere else. So could we go to that place? Okay, wait, if we could go to that place, that would be so sick. And then we can pull her out of it, right? Hopefully, yes?
Our eagle-eyed players who played through the first act and saw that cutscene where Eris died, they see her wake up in this ascendant world, very much resembling a throne world.
Yeah, there's been some educated guesses.
Wait, has it been confirmed that it's a throne world? I don't think it's been confirmed, but I could be wrong. But seems like it is a throne world.
In that direction, but
could be
obviously
hers.
there will be a lot of lore to dive into. So Vase, if you're out there, maybe you can help us out and kind of tell us a little bit more about what's to come. Excellent. So that sets the stage, but we're also going to go ahead and dive into an activity here. We've got some gameplay ready to show on screen. Quentin, we've got a new activity that we're going to go ahead and release with Act 2. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Court of Blades is?
Sure. Yeah, Court of Blades. When we were talking about bringing back the Dreadnaught, obviously we're going to pay some sort of a...
This is supposed to be the new activity? Court of Blades. I like that. It's an N. Neutralize hostiles, that's what it says. I'm not wearing my glasses. I feel like it's very noticeable now. I'm sorry, that's awkward.
Homage to the fan favorite activity, the Court of Oryx, that occurred in this space.
Yeah.
But we wanted to freshen it up. We wanted to explore, what does Destiny look like right now? And so taking that and adding to that a lot of the activities recently have been sort of longer form, maybe a little stressful. We wanted to create a shorter, quicker activity that folks can just come and slay out for 10 minutes and have fun.
I like that. Okay, wait, I actually like that. So we have the Nether that could last a little bit longer, especially if you're exploring and finding all the different secrets. And now for Act 2, they're adding in another activity that's similar, but is a much shorter version. And I feel like that brings in good variety of like a really lengthy activity and then a very short activity. Sorry,
So,
I know I'm yapping.
As we go ahead and check out the Court of Blades, there's a lot of new augments available to players too. Actually, if we can really quickly look, there's some hive statues around. Can you tell us about the augments?
Augmentation Banish. Defeat casters quickly to prevent banishment, or fight your way back to reality.
Players are going to have available to them as they go ahead and try and build their loadout for this activity?
Sure, yeah. What we wanted to do was wanted to take some inspiration from the sort of roguelike things that we've been exploring over the last couple of years with Destiny.
Yeah.
Don't mean to cut you off. Augmentation Sharpen. Confront immune blade bearers to obtain swords that strip a challenger's protection.
Making sure that each run feels unique and challenging in its own way. And so what we've borrowed the concept of augmentations from Onslaught. So players will see those, and they're a little different in this case, where they provide challenges that players may be able to overcome in other ways. So they're simple mechanically. A single player could go and complete the augmentation, but you might be able to just DPS the boss, pop your super, that sort of a thing, as a way to overcome that challenge. In addition, we've got sort of a random...
Okay, so I understood it. So wait, if I understood that correctly, it's not supposed to be like Nether, where you pick it up and then if you pick up an orb, you get extra health or something like that. It's gonna be more of a challenge, like, hey, if you do that one, you have to do this challenge. I think I understood that correct.
Randomized set of armaments that players will be able to purchase between phases that will allow them to combat those challenges a little bit.
All right, let's say we unleash our fire team here as we continue to go ahead and sort of explore what this has to offer rather. But in addition to the augments, there's also going to be some hazards that the Guardians are going to be going up against as well. It's not all going to be just fun and games and building your powerful loadout. Like these folks are going to go.
Oh, wait a second. Where is this located? I know this area, I think.
And resist you at every turn. What's it going to be like building, your loadouts as you go into this? Are you going to be able to just set one up for the week and move along, or?
So the way this is going to work, the augmentations, the challenges that get applied, start to stack the more that you play the activity. And so you might get a really good combination that's very easy for you to blow through. Sometimes you're going to get a really bad combination of a certain boss or a certain augmentation that don't work well together.
Yeah.
But we wanted players to have some opportunities to maybe shortcut those, or maybe combine a couple of the armaments that they can purchase and find a really cool combo. And so the armaments will actually rotate on a daily basis with the hope that there's be sort of a meta.
That's cool. It rotates on a daily basis. That brings a lot of variety in, of it making it different and not always the same. Does that make sense?
that generates each day and then refreshes.
So as we had our fire team hop through that portal, Nico was like, "Ooh,
I know.
what do we got? What do we got?"
I had the same reaction actually. So these arenas are going to take place obviously across the system. Nico, can you tell us about the eagle-eyed folks in
Hive sword. Equip a hive sword relic to use in battle. Can be reacquired.
chat? Obviously, you're kind of calling out where they believe that was. Can you go ahead and confirm to us where that arena was?
So the title of that area that you saw was Remnant of Silver, and that is on Io. It is in the cradle area where the Tree of Silver.
Dude, that is Io. No way. How does that fit lore-wise? I'm so excited to see how that fits lore-wise. No way, dude. We're gonna be stepping foot on Io again. That is so freaking cool.
Wings was.
Yeah.
And as players know, we have seen Mars come back, we've seen Titan come back, we've heard of Mercury, even though we haven't gone back and revisited it yet. Io is really the only one that we haven't really talked about at all. And that's because Io is still trapped between worlds, and right now it is in the Ascendant Plane, fully enveloped by it. And Oryx, through the Echo of or as the Echo of Navigation, I should say, is kind of reaching out to these places of paracausal power, reaching out to Io for this place of darkness, Hive worship, as you see here. The Hive have like massive connections to the darkness, obviously. And then one of the arenas that you haven't seen yet is on Europa, which is the first place that we encountered stasis through Clarity Control, and it is a huge font of dark energy.
Yeah, I can see
like
why they
that.
would want to
Heck
Oryx would
yeah.
connect with those places.
Let's go, let's
No, it's
go.
really exciting to get to go back to Io. I think obviously Chad had the same reaction that I had when it was like it showed on screen for the
Wait
first
a minute,
time.
I've been there.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah.
So when we're going through these arenas, like you were talking about the challenges and the difficulty, with the Court of Blades, are we going to see similar mechanics to Nether, like the health scaling or things like that, or how's it different?
We will not be seeing the health scaling and health mechanics from the Nether, so that's a bit of a load off people's minds. This is intended to be a bit more of a less stressful, more fun.
Did you guys see the Titan bubbles? Not Titan bubbles, sorry, the glaive bubbles. The glaive bubbles.
Activity, but the difficulty
They're the
does
cutest.
escalate after every 2 challengers. And so what we want to do, we've created these sort of light mechanics. You know, what you're not going to see is true raid level experience. This is not a replacement for Pantheon, that sort of a thing. We want it to be match made. We want it to be go in and have fun. The mechanics that you can buy as armaments sometimes will provide antidotes or shortcuts to the mechanics that you're seeing as augmentations.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Some of them you may recognize from the Nether. Some of them are going to be brand new, and a few of them are actually going to be things that we've taken from some favorite old exotics.
Take it, eyes.
Taken, as we see on
Wait,
the
he
screen.
said-
Sorry,
How dare you?
Did you say exotic?
such as
as we see on the screen.
taken from some favorite old exotics, such as
Taken, as we see on the screen.
Sure.
Sorry.
How dare you?
such as we've taken the effect from sun bracers off, and that is a thing that you can actually purchase within this activity using the currency, and maybe combine that with something that increases ability regeneration, or maybe you
That's
see a couple
cool.
of arc flavored armaments, and you decide on this run.
This is such like a build crafting kind of activity. For them to pull stuff from exotic armor pieces and create it or like put it into this game where you can have that without having the armor piece on. Imagine the amount of builds you can make in this. That sounds fun.
I'm going to use those.
Yeah.
So it's about mixing and matching and finding what works on a
Yeah,
particular
a lot of chances
run.
to really exemplify your build. So also there's, in addition to kind of the standard run through that we're seeing right here, is there a higher difficulty mode available as well?
Sure, yeah. For people who like a little bit more of a challenge, we're going to have an expert version of the
Heck
activity.
yeah.
Both will actually be a really good place to find the Act 2 weapons that'll drop more often in both versions of the activity. But the adept versions will only drop in the expert mode.
Okay, so good reason to go ahead and make sure you got your build all tightened up. You're focusing on those augmentations and just
So, I can't remember how many weapons are coming out for Act 2, but that sounds really good. I mean, it kind of forces you to play the new activity, which I honestly don't mind because it looks fun, and I will definitely be running this activity a lot and running raffles on my streams. But yeah, I don't know how many weapons are supposed to come out for Act 2, but it's cool that they drop more for the new activity and less on like the older activity. It makes sense.
and you know, really go ahead and try and slay out, I think, honestly. I'm just going to steal your phrasing there because I can't think of anything better.
Sure.
To that end as well, Nico, we're going up against, you were mentioning at the end of Act 1, Zivu and Savathun were none too happy with Oryx's answer and demeanor towards us. Who are we going up against as we go ahead and fly through this activity?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so a little bit of a refresher. The finale, we walked in, we saw the Echo of Navigation, and this is where Oryx learns that we killed him in the Taken King.
Yeah.
And his response is, "You killed me? Very cool."
Yeah.
I'm super into that.
How refreshing. I was like, whew,
Very
finally one less
cool.
hive god to be mad at me,
Yes,
right?
exactly. So what Oryx is kind of doing here is he wants you to be his guy.
Thank God he's not like, revenge.
You know, he wants you to take up that mantle of Taken King, and he's testing you. This is him testing his knife, right? Making sure it's as sharp as it's supposed to be. And while he is doing
I like that.
to prove that you are the Taken King, Zivu is here saying, no, I want my brother back.
Yeah.
Let me give you another champion. She's presenting her own hive champions, trying to say, let this be a vessel for you.
Yeah.
Much like we saw in Pit of Heresy, it's a similar idea to that. And then Savathun, on the other end of the spectrum there, is saying, this is stupid. We should all just move on from this chain to the sword logic that we have.
Yeah.
Stop being shackled to these old ideas.
Yeah.
We can all be free.
That sounds kind of heretical.
It's crazy how much we're just in the middle of the entire like sibling argument. Yeah, the argument, this whole like sibling thing between the Taken gods and everything, and we're just like flat out in the middle of everything.
Heretical.
It does sound a little heretical, a little bit, yes.
No, I mean, we have to give a shout out. So Oryx has been kind of whispering in my ear through Nether and through the activities of Act 1. I'm assuming we'll see more. Of course, we've hidden the VO, we've hidden the subtitles and stuff to avoid spoilers. But
Dang
I
it.
wanted to give a shout out to the voice actor.
So the voice actor for Oryx is Joshua David King. They did a fantastic job every single time we were in the recording booth. All the narrative designers, our voice director, everybody was just losing their mind over the performance. It was fantastic, and I mean, you get to see it in the game. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's always wonderful seeing like
That's
Marla coming in.
awesome. I've been enjoying the voice of Oryx. I'm so sorry. They've been like hovering over all of these different augmentation
And I
stuff.
mean, you get to see it in the
And
game.
I have not read them, but I didn't realize that there were so many augmentation stuff. So I'm just gonna read a couple. Augmentation Miasma, avoid standing on taken stains which cloak challenger's immunity.
It's amazing.
That's cool.
It's always
Confront immune blade bearers to obtain swords that strip the challenger's protection. I think we read this one earlier.
wonderful seeing like Morla coming in, bringing Eris to life, and then in this case, Oryx is alive.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that we're having kind of a relationship with the Taken King.
Yeah,
So,
and it was a big deal for us because we wanted to make sure that we did that character justice, and they didn't really have Oryx as a character didn't really have a suite of voice acting before, so we wanted to make sure that it felt true to what Oryx was back in the Taken King, as well as
Heck
now
yeah.
with Navigation.
evolving from just grunts of like, Taken, and now it's like, yo,
To an
Sword
actual
Logic,
voice.
You killed me. You're cool.
A lot more verbose now.
Yeah.
That is so true, though. You killed me. You're cool. Love that he's just not really pulling revenge. I mean, he's definitely testing us, but that's so great. Oh, you killed me? That's freaking awesome.
Oryx has been really reading the thesaurus recently and making sure that he's got his vocabulary all up to snuff. Actually, as well, really quickly, Quentin, I'd love to go ahead and check with you as well. There's new. I think we were talking about the shaping slab earlier as well before the show. What sort of additional enhancements are available there?
Sure, yeah. As
Ooh.
people will have seen in Act 1, there's a set of upgrades that they can purchase and slot in based on how far they have ranked the vendor that are specific to the Nether and the requirements of that, providing a free revive token, things like that. Court is going to get a whole new set specifically for it, as well as some permanent upgrades to help players deal with the heavy and increasing challenge as they get deeper and deeper and try and up that score of how many challengers they can take down in a single run.
Chances for our creators to make some guys, maybe a
The glaive
this time
action.
around. We probably got something in store there. But we now actually would love to take a moment to introduce another new face to our couch for the very first time to help kind of talk us through some of the weapons that are going to be available to you as we go ahead and kick off Act 2 of Heresy. We are now joined by the one and only associate designer here, probably the one and only Morgan Dickens, associate designer here at Bungie. Morgan, how's it going today?
It's going well, thank you.
Absolutely. So for anyone that doesn't get the chance to work with you at Bungie or is unfamiliar with your work, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Morgan. I'm a weapons designer here at Bungie. I work on the origin traits and perks and just the general gameplay for the weapons. I did the Act 3 weapons and the Telesto update, if that tells you anything about me.
That's true. So obviously we have Morgan to blame / thank, depending on what side of Telesto you're on.
How dare you with Telesto? Wait, that's so awesome.
For the
Hey,
new
there,
catalyst. Yeah.
were some whispers of Telesto's broken on day one. I was like, what do you mean broken? And then it's, oh, you mean like good broken.
You're right, yeah.
Good job. Community loves it. Thanks, chat, for shouting out.
Yes.
Yeah. As we-
I love the new Telesto update. I think that's really cool. I won't lie though, I am ready for Telesto to break the game soon. Like, it's been so long. It's been too long since Telesto has broken the game, at least from what I remember. So I feel like it's kind of time. Like, break it in a funny way, you know? Like, it doesn't have to be like anything bad, in a funny way. Because it's always so hilarious when Telesto breaks the game.
we all collectively wiped our brow and we're like, okay, cool.
Telesto's broken and ooh.
Morgan hands us another win. So speaking of, we're going to have some new weapons. The folks in chat have obviously seen let's tell you about, let's go ahead and start with what's here on screen. The glaive that we're looking at right now. We're going to have some new weapons joining, but can you tell us a little bit about the glaive we're looking at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So this glaive is Refusal of the Call. It is our second kinetic slot glaive that we have ever done, and our first strand glaive.
Ooh.
So this one,
Wait,
as someone
that's
who's been
awesome.
humbled by glaives more often than
Kinetic
I care to admit in
and
the Crucible
strand?
recently, what are some roles we should be looking forward to with this one?
Yeah, so
That looks phenomenal. I love it.
as displayed on screen, Sword Logic Discord is a very fun role with good ammo efficiency and really high damage potential. And if you're looking for a fun Crucible role, tilting at windmills and melee momentum is really fun.
Okay, that's one I'm going to
That's a good name for a perk. Tilting at windmills in Crucible.
Yeah.
Tilting your opponents.
Why do you stare right at me when you say that?
I don't know. But I do want to make another call out. So in Act 1, we were talking about, when you're going to the Dreadnaught, it's peeling back, the skin is coming off. When we were just looking at this glaive, they all follow that same theme. So right now, you have a big sword on a big stick that's covered in teeth. Like, I cannot. This is my number one thing when Act 2 goes live to go.
It
Rite.
does
Yeah.
look so
yeah.
cool.
I'm looking forward to that. And I couldn't help but notice, obviously, there's a very, very scary looking new Void bow as well that our Guardian here has been using. Can you tell us a little bit about this bad boy?
Absolutely. So Anamnesis is a Void lightweight frame bow. This one's really cool because the origin trait grants charge
Sorry. I love bows. That is so awesome. The origin trait grants charged.
Speed. So dealing damage to enemies, the origin trait grants charge speed. So dealing damage to enemies and getting final blows will slowly just lower that charge time. If you're a bow lover and you have always wanted to take something other than Archer's Tempo in the left column, now's your chance.
Yeah, fair. I have my vault is littered with Archer's Tempo in that first column, so no, I'm really looking forward to that one. What are some roles? I think we've got some repulsor brace action going on, but what are some roles we can look forward to here?
Yeah, you can pair repulsor brace with either destabilizing rounds or demoralize. And if you want to take advantage of that origin trait reducing charge time, you can throw a successful warm-up and impulse amplifier on it and have one of the fastest firing bows in the game.
Yeah, honestly, even having just gotten that roll on Exalted Truth like the other weekend on Trials, like I cannot wait to go ahead and take it out for a spin with this bow.
The timing is impeccable too. Like last week on I think Reddit, there was a post about, oh, legendary bows, I don't use them very often, etc. But folks were going into the Nightfall with Monarch. And I'm like, oh, here's a new Void Bow that goes with the artifact that has all these cool perks. Maybe you'll have a new thing to use in Nightfalls when the sidearm comes around next week. Chat, yes, the sidearm is next week. Don't worry. But yeah.
Oh no, I thought the sidearm was this week. I guess the sidearm was part of like Act 2 maybe. That's why it's coming next week. But I'm so excited it's gonna drop next week. I need to check what the Grandmaster was next week. Let's go.
It's awesome. And so in addition to those, so obviously Dylan mentioned there's a sidearm. What is the other? I think there's two more that we haven't covered yet.
Yeah, so there's a sidearm, a submachine gun, and a fusion rifle.
Exciting.
The sidearm is one of our first heavy burst sidearms in a bit, and it's got
heavy burst
bolt shot on it, which, given how quick sidearms reload, is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And you can also get sword logic on it as well.
Yeah.
It's always a fun option.
Yeah, seriously, I
When
can't
you
wait.
say heavy burst sidearm, is that a 2-shot?
2-shot.
Got it.
Yeah, it's going to be powerful. Again, I can
Wow.
already hear it ringing out, I'm
Wait,
sure,
I'm so excited.
in my Trials matches. But we also have, there's a new fusion rifle. Oh, here, actually, we got the sidearm up on screen. Let's hang out here for a second and just take a look.
That's so cool. I'm not always the biggest fan of sidearms. I just suck at using them. But rocket sidearms, I have loved. So I'm really excited to see how the heavy burst sidearm is gonna feel like.
That art style is just so good. I can't get over it.
Yeah, the design is really cool, and the glow actually gets a little bit brighter as you stack up the origin trait, which is fun.
Oh, that's
Super
cool.
cool, actually. In addition to that, I know we were talking a little bit before the show as well. There's a new fusion rifle in store that sounds pretty terrifying if you're going up against us. Can you tell us a little bit about what's in front of us right now?
Yeah, so
It's
Afterlight
gold!
is another weapon that really benefits from that charge rate boost.
Shiny?
And it's got a couple of fun options for DPS with that. If you're willing to put in a lot of work, Ambitious Assassin Reservoir Burst with that origin trait will stack up in a couple shots and will do really, really high DPS until you lose Reservoir Burst.
Of course, yeah.
And if you're looking for something simpler, you can always do Lead from Gold and Vorpal Weapon.
True. Yeah.
This version of the weapon is one of the heretical arsenal versions too. So if you're going into the expert difficulty of Court, you can get some of these to drop as you're playing with your friends. It has the 2 perks in each column, and then it has the extra origin trait from King's Fall, narratively tied in. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandbox team, for the cool stuff.
As
Thank
always.
you, Sandbox team, for the cool stuff.
Yeah.
But then also on top of that, you have your Tome of Want. So if you're just looking for rolls, trying to get more of the sidearm, the fusion, etc., these will be additions. You go and you get your
almost
slabs from
died.
the chests or doing the activity,
Yeah.
and then you can use it in the court to get more drops, or you can actually go into Nether or go into Crucible or whatever and have
Yeah.
a couple of those extra drops come in too.
Very exciting, yeah. And it's like, I don't know, I was getting like mini Plan C vibes from that one. Like, I'm super excited to see how I can work that one in. So the sandbox is always obviously rather going to be enriched by some new legendary weapons, but our good friend, the Barrow Dyad, is going to have some new additions to their perks as well this time around. For
Yes,
anyone out
indeed.
there like myself who's gone ahead and added that to their loadouts recently, what are some of the updates we can expect there?
Yeah, so Bear Dyad is getting 2 new Catalyst perks in Act 2, with 2 more coming later. And some of the fun
4
options there are 1 for all and target lock. Not many exotics have like damage perks on their Catalyst, but this one you can really alter your play style.
Yeah, I feel like Target Lock is almost made for that one. It's going to be super exciting to take that one out for a spin.
I'm going to be excited to see what Maven comes up with as a build video.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out, Maven. Thank you very much for all your build videos. Can't wait to see some more, obviously, along the way.
And sorry, it'll be 2
yeah.
catalysts go live on Tuesday next week on the 11th, and then we have 2 more coming in Act 3.
Cool. Okay.
So
Still more to unlock, but obviously Baradaiad's potentially
Let's
starting to
go!
really continue.
I'm
to build
excited.
up.
and if you haven't gotten it, that
Yes.
exotic quest, shout out to our activity designers. Like, I was blown away. And if
Yeah.
you have some problems with like kind of insects and holes and stuff, it's a little creepy. So be prepared. But
It does get kind of scary in there. I love the Barrow Diet quest. I thought it was so fun. Can't wait to go back in there and actually get some more perks. So we're getting 2 for Act 2 and then 2 more for Act 3.
And actually, okay, we're taking a look at Baradaiad here really quickly. This is one where if the Guardians out there haven't had a chance to get their hands on it, as Dylan mentioned, the exotic quest is live right now, but coming next week, we've got 2 more catalysts that'll be hitting. So
Let's go! I already have a guide for how to unlock it and how to continue on the quest. So you get to like the furthest point that you can get on it. And then when Tuesday drops next week, I will make sure I will work on the next guide on how to actually unlock the perks. So yeah, I can't
looking
wait.
forward to expand that. And actually, while we're here in menu, we'd be remiss if we didn't take a look at our friendly neighborhood artifact as well. As has been the case with the Act, our artifacts have continued with another, or expanded, pardon me, with another row. Can you tell us a little bit about what we got? We only got 5, so I vote we go ahead and just dive in and check them all out.
Yeah, absolutely. So the primary theme for this one is trace rifles with a secondary theme of like element matching. So in the left column, you have overload trace rifles as a new anti-champ option. And then we have a new trace rifle perk, Beam Medic, where rapid trace rifle final blows heal both you and nearby allies. This is a fun thing to...
What? Rapid trace rifle final blows heal you and nearby allies. Powerful combatants increase the amount. No way. Wait, that's actually amazing.
pair with the new detonator beam perk, which will help you get those multi-kills.
Yeah. Yeah, very looking forward to it. I'm just continuing, like...
And then like Cenotaph Warlock? Oh? Or then like Divinity and Xenotaph and all of that combined, I think would be really cool.
I'm already imagining how I'm going to get Microcosm back into my loadout. Honestly, already, like, I cannot wait.
Well, I have good news for you. Skipping ahead to the fourth column perk, Harsh Refraction. Trace rifles do more damage to targets with debuffs that match their element type. And this is always on for Microcosm.
I was going to say, all right, so Kinetic is going to be a very happy camper in that case.
Uh-huh.
Oh, can't
Yeah.
wait.
Microcosm.
Any others that we want to look at before we go along? I know we have a little bit of extra time here.
Yeah, absolutely. So for Microcosm, if you want to just really double down on that, Limit Break is the fifth column perk, and it will get you increased super damage when you are either critically wounded and you cast it, or when you have an elemental buff that matches your super type.
Perfect.
That's amazing. Casting a super while you are critically wounded or have a elemental buff matching your super element grants a period of increased super damage.
Actually, while we're here, we may as well just take a look. What awaits us in the third column as well?
So the third column is a new artifact perk that will help you get more access to elemental pickups like tangles or fire sprites. Rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon that matches your equipped super will, grant you one of those.
Perfect.
And it can be boosted by the Tome of One.
Very exciting.
Nice.
All right, so our trace
Wait,
rifles.
what is the boost? Elemental pickups grant matching super energy when they are collected. Okay.
So we're really going to go ahead and get a
Sounds
lot
pretty good,
of
actually.
additional mileage here, it looks like, honestly.
I got it.
The only thing is that all of the top ones have already been so amazing. It's going to be really hard to decide which ones to get rid of in order to put the new ones on.
I give a shout out to our icon artist too. So like Prometheus Lens is my favorite trace. Like Laser Tag Weekend, some people just immediately melt and they're like, oh God. But that was a really fun time.
I was going to say, you were not one of those. Yeah.
Oh, I was so excited. We had Urk at the time reached out and asked, can we put Prometheus Lens on Xur? And I was like, why would you do that? Yes! But yeah, with these perks, I'm going to go out and burn down the world with Prometheus Lens. Like Microcosm I'll pull out for the boss DPS, but just for like running through court, running through Nether, I'm going to be like, Let's burn some stuff.
That's right. I'll have your back. I'll have the microcosm. You take Prometheus lens. It's going to be a terrible day to be hyper taken for a
Sure.
little while.
Hit me up
Yeah.
on Discord, and then I'll ignore you for another week. And then
As always. I don't. Well, that's right,
That
hurts.
ego.
Okay, it's right in front of all of
Oh
our
my
guardians.
gosh.
Okay, so while we're also checking out the artifact, we've got, we teased at the top of the show. We're gonna do some Act 3 teases as well. Could you give us a tease a little, or what the theme rather of what that last row is gonna be?
Yeah, so the primary theme is rockets. We have a new perk that will help you clear rockets without needing to reload or spend ammo. And then there's a secondary theme of strand with a
Hold on, did you just say without having to reload or use ammo? Dang, that sounds exciting.
new way to access woven mail.
Okay, very exciting.
Ooh, woven
I
mail.
cannot wait to go ahead and just dust off my rocket launchers too. Honestly, I still have my Apex Predator sitting around, and that one's been waiting for a time to shine. So I think this is that moment.
Yeah. And then outside of the artifact, there are going to be new things to play, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to have refreshes to the Nether and Court in terms of new bosses, new combatants. If you're familiar with the pressure events from Act 1, the blights that you have to destroy, there's new and devious versions of those that are coming
Exciting.
To Nether. And then in Act 3, our featured activity is going to be the return of the Sunless Cell Strike.
Right. Yes. Any Guardians who remember their fond Destiny 1 days of having that like huge batch of thralls running at you up the bridge, now's the chance to check that out. But actually, we were
I don't think I know that one. Sunless Cell Strike, something like that? Did you just say it was Destiny 1? I don't think I know that one, but I'm so excited.
talking before the show. It's probably not going to be Alacool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Because if it's going to be from Destiny 1, it's going to be brand new for me. Alright, I'll stop interrupting for a bit.
Nico was mentioning, so Alacool was down in the deep, dark dungeon hole and then became a light hive, the Guardian hive. What do we
Light
call
bears?
it? Yeah, well, it was
He's
light
the
bear, and then it was
light
like
The Lucent Hive.
Alatool is what you called it, and I cringed.
Cool.
Yeah, I hate that.
It's
But,
creativity's a process, everyone.
So with the light blade ascending, being in the throne world, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Who is in the Sunless Cell now? And that's something we'll find out in Act 3 in April.
Yeah, very exciting. We'll have a chance to check that out. And actually, Dylan, while I've got you, I'd love to put you on the spot. In addition to obviously all this stuff that'll be arriving with Act 2, Guardian Games is going to be making its triumphant return as well.
Oh yeah. So let me get my handy dandy notebook here. Replaced the big one with the little tiny one. It looks like I take notes now.
He's
So-
like he's a reporter out on the
Yeah, so Guardian
The
Games starts next
screenshots are
week,
gonna be amazing.
March 11th, right at Reset alongside Act 2. For folks,
What? Is that going to be the armor? Oh, no. Wait, that looks amazing. Whoa, that almost looks like that looks like a lion head, right? With like how do you even call that? Like a helmet? Like a knight helmet? With a lion head? Wait, okay, that looks sick. I'm a hunter main, so I'm looking at this one the most. Which also looks cool. I love the design. And then a warlock one looks cool too. Wait, look at that sword! That's so sick. Okay, they actually look so good. I might have to... dude. Do I have to get the armor on all 3 characters? I love Guardian Games. I'm so excited for this one to come out. This all looks amazing. Oh, look, it's got like another lion head on his chest. I'm trying to look for details. I wish we could see the back of the hunter cloak. I feel like cloaks are the best for hunters. Like, when it comes to new outfits, I always need to see what the cloak looks like. Because the cloak it says so much when you're wearing it. But I like all 3 of them, actually. I don't know why, but I'm leaning more to the warlock one. I'm really liking the warlock one.
folks that don't know what Guardian Games is, we invite our hunters, titans, and warlocks to come in, battle it out, and see, well, who's best. We have a celebration in the tower. It's all decorated, and we'll have a ton more detail in the TWID on Thursday, so tune in for that. But I just have a couple teases of, we have a...
Please.
You put it best, bite-sized boss rush mode.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like a court, it's not going to be like a pantheon, but now we have...
They mentioned Pantheon. They mentioned Pantheon. Hold on. Hold on. He didn't say it's going to be like Pantheon. But maybe it's similar to Pantheon.
have a challenge of, hey, go in, burn down some bosses, get as many points as you can, and then you can get some new rewards.
Yeah.
So when it comes to rewards, we have some really cool armor. This is going to be Eververse. You can earn it for free through Bright Dust. So go in and do your seasonal challenges, do your Pathfinders. There are going to be some weekly bounties that get Bright Dust. And you can see that we're going with more of a gladiator theme, where previous it was like, let's go into sports, let's go into these things. Now it's like, hey, gladiators, you're going to go in, you're going to destroy these bosses, and it's going to be a really good time.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm excited for that Hunter Cloak for sure.
Seriously.
And then all players are going to be
wish I
getting
could see it from behind.
a specific class item to engage with the event as well.
That's right.
So,
Okay,
the Hunter is holding our new premier legendary weapon that's going to be coming out.
Right.
And now
That looks like a trace rifle, right? I didn't even look. I saw the sword, and that's the only one I pointed out because it was just so clean.
I pass it off to Morgan because there's some really cool perk rolls that you can get on there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had the Arc Trace Rifle in Iron Banner, which has more of a PvP focus. This one has more of a PvE focus to go along with the
Nice.
boss slaying theme.
Yep.
It's got some fun perks in the left column, including Overflow and Triple Tap and Eddy Current, if you just want to double down on the Arc perks. And it's got our new Detonator Beam and Jolting Feedback alongside Rolling Storm as well.
Okay, this one's going to be a lot of fun. Oh my gosh.
Wait,
Does it
that
have a
actually
jolt
sounds
shot,
so
too?
good.
I don't think it has Jolt Shot.
Okay. But just like you can go in and do almost every single arc verb with this thing, depending on your role. So better you do in the activity, the more perks you can get on these things. So double perks in each column. And then we have some returning weapons for Guardian games as well.
Yeah, Hullabaloo is coming back. That is the heavy grenade launcher that shoots
Hullabaloo! I love the name so much. Hullabaloo is just a name I could say all day long.
the 3 waves. It is getting the new Rolling Storm perk, which is obviously really fun on a weapon that can clear ads so quickly.
Yeah.
And I personally like pairing that with Demolitionist, so you have a easier access to something that lets you discharge Bolt Charge as well.
Yeah.
And then it's
Super
got
friend.
Envious and Cascade Point as well, which is a fun roll from last year.
Very nice. Yeah, my dad's a big Hullabaloo fan. He's got one with Chain Reaction that is devious against all that's saying against us, so I cannot wait to see this one in the wild.
We also have Taraxipos, the Strand Scout Rifle returning. It's getting the new perks Lone Wolf and Tear. Lone Wolf explosive rounds is devious in the Crucible.
I was just having so much fun, too. How can you do this to me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get one of my own. Who am I kidding? Yeah.
And of course, we have the title coming back. And
SMG.
it will still have Repulsor Brace destabilizing rounds, but it's also
Nice.
getting Recycled Energy and Demoralize and To the Pain.
Demoralize is like my favorite perk name
Cool.
from this episode because it's legitimately like, oh, you're all weakened now, baby. Let's go to work. But title is going to be great. I've been trying to get that for the last couple of years with a good perk roll, and now there's a bunch of really cool stuff to get on it.
Yeah.
So
there's obviously a
yeah.
decent amount of stuff to go ahead and be chasing down in game between the new armor, the new trace rifle, and obviously the refreshed rolls. But Dylan, as well, I'd love to put you on the spot. There's going to be stuff out of game available to Guardians as well.
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about what's available there.
yeah, every year we have a Bungie rewards component. So big shout out to Natalie, our rewards team. But we have a really cool jersey that we're going to be offering this year. So go in,
No
do
way.
your triumphs, earn your title, and then you can earn this really.
Wait, this looks sick! No way! Wait, this is so fitting! A jersey shirt for Guardian Games. And it's got the Guardian the Guardian Games symbols, the 25 for 2025. This is so cool. I might actually have to get that because it's so fitting with like the whole competition of which Guardian is going to win. Man, this is actually sick. I like that.
Really
Nice.
sweet jersey.
Yeah.
So there are going to be a couple other things that you can go in and get as well. But this is, I think you and I were talking about, hey, you go to a Sounders game and now you can have a fellow Titan or a Hunter show up and be like, hey, so Warlocks are pretty nerdy, right?
Why are you here at a
Wait,
Sounders
that's
game instead
so
of reading a
sick.
book?
Yeah, right.
That's my
We
Titan
also have
impression,
a
right?
sample here in the studio. This is a large, just for folks that want to see it.
Huge,
Really
again,
cool.
shout out to Natalie. Getting one of these early, huge win. So huge thanks to our community.
2025.
That looks so good. I need that. I want that and I need that.
5 Guardian games.
Yeah.
Looks really good on the back.
That's so cool.
Thank you for my fashion corner.
You know what? You've got more on the way, but we can also tease that later. But no, really cool to get to see one of those in person as well. All right, so now as we've obviously had a chance to dive in, with a little bit of what is to arrive in Act 2, we've got some Act 3 teases for you as well. And so we'd like to take an opportunity here to welcome 2 new folks to the couch that we have magically brought in. We'll go ahead and start with the fine individual to my left, who you may have met by way of some of our Bungie Vidocs in the past, or if you work here, she's brandishing a small bottle of teeth. Yes, actually teeth, at you during our team's meetings. I'd like to introduce the one and only Nix Kinney, a producer here at Bungie. Nix, how's it going?
Hey, Andy, it's going. You owe me. No, happy to be here. Super surprised that you asked me to be live.
No, of course. Glad you could join us. For anyone that may not have met you by way of our Vidocs and is just meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is you do here?
Yeah, I'm a producer here at Bungie, and I've produced a number of teams from activity design, free roam lost sectors, strikes, to world art, palette lighting, skies, VFX, and most recently our sandbox weapons team with Morgan, who was just here, and my production darling, Dreadnaught.
That's right. We will. That is a Charlie Brown-ish line for now, because we're going to introduce that in just a moment, I promise. But of course, we're going to go ahead and make sure and introduce right next to her, Rodney Thompson, a senior design lead here at Bungie. Rodney, how's it going?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much. That's so nice. Anyone who may not have had a chance to meet you or doesn't get a chance to work with you here at Bungie, can you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do here?
Sure. I've been at Bungie for about 10 years. I'm a designer, and
Wow.
I'm the sandbox craft lead. And additionally, I've been the team lead for the Charlie Brown redacted team that Nick just mentioned.
Very exciting. We've got
I
some cool
love
stuff
it.
to check out. Now, actually, Dylan, you and I were talking a little bit about this. There's going to be a new event arriving with Act 3.
Yeah, this event
Yeah.
is free to all players. It's going to offer something for lower skill, for folks that maybe want to start getting into some endgame content. And then it's also going to
Pantheon.
offer some things of higher difficulty. I don't want to steal too much thunder.
Oh, no,
but
of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's tee it up.
Yeah, that allows us a chance to introduce it. Rodney, would you like to do the
Please let it be Pantheon.
honors of introducing
The Rite of the Nine. Yes.
Rite of the Nine?
So Rite of the Nine is our new event that we've been working on. Really excited about this. It is
That
a
looks
limited
sick.
time event that features our dungeons. 3 of our dungeons that are part of this event. That's going to be Prophecy, of course, because of the 9 associations, but also Spire of the Watcher and Ghosts of the Deep. So these 3 dungeons, you know, we've seen a lot of reaction, positive reaction to the contest modes for our new dungeons as they've come out. And we were thinking, you know, what would it be like if we were able to go back to our older dungeons and experience that kind of level of challenge and see how things play out in, you know, these older dungeons with some tweaks and some tuning and some additional
That's literally Pantheon. But for dungeons? Nah. It doesn't that literally I can't even talk. That literally sounds like Pantheon, but with dungeons, right? They're gonna make it harder because we never had contests for those dungeons? No way.
modifiers and things like that to really like bring the challenge up to kind of contest mode levels, right? So we're like, okay, we got this great, you know, set of dungeons. Let's really put the screws to our players and see what they can do in a hard, you know, mode for these dungeons.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we were like, well, you know, a lot of these dungeons, you know, there's a lot of players out there that haven't gotten to experience them because they can be pretty intimidating. They are, you know, mechanically a little more intense. They don't do a lot of hand-holding in the activity. And, you know, they often require, or at least, you know, incentivize you to play with other players, right? So we were thinking, like, what if we could take this event as an opportunity to introduce these classic dungeons to, you know, a whole new audience by way of what we're calling Explorer mode. And so basically we've got new stuff at the top end in ultimatum mode. We've got new stuff for players, or new opportunities for players to learn the dungeons in Explorer mode. And then we have eternity mode, which is sort of aimed at our middle of the road experienced dungeoneers. So we've kind of got something for everybody.
Excellent, awesome.
I like
we've got stuff
that.
to actually show
Nice.
live here. Tell you what, why don't you guys tell us just a little bit about where we're at right now?
Sure. So this is the social space for the event. Eagle-eyed veterans might notice that this is the third Spire social space. It was originally used for the Trials of the Nine PvP event. But it's been a while. It's been since year one since you could go to this space. So we're bringing it back for...
No frickin' way. No way. This is sick.
The Rite of the Nine event. You can see off in the distance there as our brave/reckless guardian runs off into the horizon. You can see, there we go.
It's a death button intrepid one at that. So
You can see the Spire of the Watcher tower off in the distance.
Yeah.
That's indicating that during the week that we have this set for, Spire is the featured dungeon. So there's going to be one of these 3 dungeons featured during each week of the event on a sort of rolling.
Look how cool that is! No freaking way! Okay, so if you see... So my camera just froze. Took me like 20 to 30 minutes to get it back up to working. Wow, I can't even English. So, sorry it got cut off,
Spire
but
of the
we're gonna
Watcher
proceed.
tower off in the distance.
Yeah.
That's indicating that during the week that we have this set for, Spire is the featured dungeon. So there's going to be one of these 3 dungeons featured during each week of the event.
That is sick, by the way. That is so freaking awesome to have a visual of like part of the dungeon. So in this case, it was Spire and it has a tower, like visually off into the distance. And it literally shows what the featured dungeon is. Love that. I love the visual thing. Also, this right here looks freaking amazing.
On a sort of rolling basis.
okay, yeah. So here we're obviously this is a familiar face as well. What are some of the things we're going to be able to get up to here? Obviously, thank you, Gemini.
way!
We appreciate the introduction.
So the Emissary is our vendor, and the Emissary offers you quests, bounties, rewards, a wide variety of things to do during the event. Like I say, it's all dungeon focused, but we're going to be leading you into those dungeons and giving you rewards for beating them on the various difficulty levels.
And
This literally feels like Into the Light, and I'm gonna assume it is. Dude, Into the Light was awesome. That was the most funnest, is that word? The funnest, most, I can't even English. The most funnest month. I don't even think that was English, but that was the best month I've had in a really long time, where the entire month all I did was Pantheon, and I've been wanting Pantheon back. And okay, maybe this is not like the exact same Pantheon, but it, I think, seems similar. You have like this whole new area, which is right here, where you can get all the, you know, the quests and everything, kind of like we had with Into the Light.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, I believe I see some weaponry here in the background.
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
So for this event, we have taken 4 of the weapons from each of the featured dungeons and given them a big revamp. We've redone their perk pools, introduced perks that have come in over the seasons since the dungeon was released, and put those into these weapons and really given them a good juicing up as far as like the perks that are available.
Yeah.
And what you're sort of seeing here is the ability to attune to these various weapons, just like you could during Into the Light with the light weapons, so that if there's a particular one of these that you really are hunting a certain role, you can attune to it, get more drops of that weapon during the course of the event.
Very exciting. Okay, again, we see some fans obviously in the house here.
I love this so much. The fact that they did that so, like, at the same time is so funny. Wow, my English sucks today. I love that they did that at the same time.
So we've got, as you were mentioning, you know, ultimatum mode. We can go ahead and talk a little bit about later. But as we noticed, Spire the Watchers here. Nix, can you tell us a little bit about Explore mode and how you guys kind of built that and what that process was like?
Yeah, playtesting for Explorer mode was truly so cute because it required us to find people in studio who had never played dungeons before. And that means we sourced folks from all corners, all levels, and made them equal in the name of a dungeon. So it was really great to see them go through our dungeons and having us tune it so that by the end of our playtest series, I think they just grew into folks who were really quite adept at dungeons. And I want to say, can go on to even solo them if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great starting point. You know, I think we were talking a little bit before the show, but you know, Explore mode obviously grants the opportunity, one, to just learn, to just go ahead and kick the proverbial tires in the dungeon, figure out how Arctrition works, which we can see here in just a second. But you know, for folks like myself who do really enjoy running dungeons, and you know, I've only soloed one dungeon, but if I wanted to go ahead and really get all of my strats ready for a solo, maybe a solo flawless run if I'm lucky enough, this seems like a great way to approach that.
That's so cool that's going to be soloable.
In the Explorer mode, you have some tool tips, so that'll give you some idea of
Could do some challenges.
how to navigate these puzzles, and also some waypointing to help you get through some tricky areas that you may not be able to find on your own.
Yeah, there's a lot of minutia to always find in these, and it may not always be obvious which way to go. And so you guys, like we were talking about before the show, you actually built some new tech to help kind of establish those breadcrumb trails for the Guardians. All right, we're about to dive on in actually here as well, but very briefly as well as we go ahead and prepare to land, a brief touch on ultimatum mode as well. What are some of the key differences between those two experiences?
Sure. So while Explorer mode, of course, is aimed at people who have maybe not as familiar with the dungeons or never really given them a shot, Ultimatum mode is for players who are familiar with the dungeons and are used to a high level of play. So they're going to be our most challenging. They're going to be sort of a power level equivalent of contest mode. So you're going to be facing tougher enemies. And then we're also using some activity modifiers to sort of craft the experience and make it a little more challenging, but also just give you a little bit, require you to make a few decisions before you go into the dungeon or before you go into an encounter that you wouldn't otherwise necessarily be thinking about. So for example, we're using the not swap activity modifier, which basically means you need to keep one exotic equipped for the duration of an encounter. That's just sort of a way of saying, like, okay, we need you to really focus on thinking about this encounter and figuring out how you're going to tackle the challenges associated with it. And then both Eternity mode and Ultimatum mode are scored on a per encounter basis. So the higher your score in that encounter, the better the loot drop is going to be. You'll get double perks in different columns and things like that. That's all based on deaths. So instead of being based on kills or number of damage phases or things like that, it's basically getting through the encounter with fewer deaths gets you a higher score.
We don't talk about how I literally die so many times all the time. So basically, throwing, not allowed. Noted.
As alive as possible.
Exactly, right. So
wire nodes. Locate the starting node for each wire and shoot them in order with the Arctician buff to activate
what we're really
them.
challenging you to do here is we're challenging you to go into this harder mode and not just execute, but also execute in a way that gets you a higher score, gets you better rolls, and of course
It went away.
in a way that gets you a higher score, gets you better rolls, and of course
Defeat conduit miniatures to drop pools of Arctician. Step into the pools to gain the Arctician buff, which allows wire node. Oh, wait, this basically just tells you what to do in this encounter.
Of course, in the ultimatum mode, you'll be getting adept versions of the weapons.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So when you say adept,
And you get adept
I mean,
weapons.
are they just
And
adept,
maybe
or do they have
shiny?
any special
Or just adept.
treatment, you might say?
Well, they are in fact adept in name and in functionality, but also they have the new treatment. So all of our weapons have a new visual treatment to them that has 9 iconography on them. And let's see here. Yeah, we got some that are coming up right now. So this
you
is a great
guys see
example of
that?
a sort of baseline drop of new Pacific Epitaph that has the new.
So they're like shinies, just I don't know what to call them. I'm probably gonna call them shinies again, but you can get like the what? You can get this version and in the other version.
Visual treatment. You can
I like
see
the
the
other
9 iconography
version.
on it, and you can also see like it's got the color palette at base for it. So all of our weapons that will drop during this event will have a new visual treatment. It'll also have the new event exclusive origin perk, which is Gravity Well. This will drop on all weapons that.
Reloading this weapon automatically gathers nearby ammo. Wait, that's amazing!
That
Oh my
drop during
gosh.
the event, and is only available in Rite of the Nine. So it'll be exclusive to this event.
Very exciting.
And then I think Guardians out there, we've referred to them as holofoils in the past. So as you're going in, you're doing the harder difficulty, you're earning these adepts. They're going to have the animated holofoil, giving that galaxy background, kind of showing I ascended the mountaintop. I actually went and earned this really dope loot, and I did it in a way where I got my god rolls.
As someone who's still brave, or rather proudly wears his brave arsenal as much as he can, I cannot wait
Yeah.
to go ahead and dive into this. So actually as well, now that we're in Explore mode checking it out, Rodney, can you tell us some of the key differences, key changes you all made to make this a more accessible experience for new Guardians?
Sure. So one of the things you'll note is that we're using the in-world tooltips to teach you some of the mechanics. So this is something we've seen used in the Nether and in other places in the game so far. We're continuing to expand that out as a teaching mechanism.
They're making it so much more like new player friendly. So they're giving you a bunch of hints on what you're supposed to do in this encounter. And I think that's pretty awesome because did they say, I think they said that these okay, if it works like Into the Light, I think they said that these dungeons are supposed to be like free to play because these dungeons are actually locked behind DLC purchases. Or I guess the dungeon key purchases. But if it's like Into the Light, which I think they said, but I'm not 100% sure now, it should be free to play for everyone. So there could be a bunch of people that like actually don't know the mechanics. And I think that's a really cool way for for them to be able to learn it while they're in that exact same game and encounter, and things pop up and kind of teaches you what it is and what to do. That is awesome. I love the new player friendliness in here.
So as you are playing through ultimatum mode, you'll see these tooltips come up, and we have them all over the place anytime a new new mechanic gets introduced.
Got it.
And it basically is a way to, in-world, see, like, okay, this is how this mechanic works. We're also using waypoints. Here's a great example of one of our teaching waypoints that sort of shows you, hey, here's where the path is supposed to go, and kind of direct
It is
you
kind of
in
hidden.
a lot of the places
That's
where
cool.
there are not as obvious paths through the dungeon, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like those tooltips and waypoints, we're using those in the encounters to teach you the mechanics. And we do that like the first time you see it, so that later in the dungeon, when you are encountering that mechanic again, you'll have already learned it, and you can take your time and read the tooltips, execute the mechanic at your own pace. One of the things we've done is we've removed darkness phases, and we've reduced the revive timer down to 5 seconds in Explorer mode.
Very nice.
So that there is no real penalty for failure. Yeah. So if you're
I love that. As someone who dies a lot, having to wait for like a 45-second timer to respawn, this is amazing. I was just having a conversation on stream the other day. When it comes to dungeons, whenever it has like that exploring area where it's like a jumping puzzle, things like that, it could be so nice to have the revive timer be so much less than just 45 seconds, because 45 seconds is forever.
You're just trying to learn the mechanics, and you go in and you want to look at the tooltips and follow the waypoints.
But I understand. So this is only in like
you get overwhelmed by enemies or whatever.
the Explorer
that's okay,
version.
right? Like you can kind of take your time. Yeah. I think one of the things we've seen is that a challenge with a dungeon, in addition to the mechanics and the combat challenge, a lot of it is just you have to sort of learn at a fast
that weapon
pace,
seems so
right?
nice.
And so what we're trying to do here is make it so you can kind of learn at your own pace, so that once you're comfortable with these mechanics, then you can jump into either Eternity mode or whatever with other players and
Have those platforms always been down there?
know the mechanics because you've not been sort of pressured to execute perfectly the very first time.
Yeah. In that first encounter, so you're connecting nodes in a circuit breaker to open the door. Yeah. And the waypoints are breadcrumbs, so it's like hit the first circuit and then you see a waypoint for the next in explore mode. So your ad clear aficionados, they are now learning or being given the opportunity to learn, oh, this is actually how this pathing works. This is how this mechanic works. So when you bring them in, or when I bring you in, like
so why did you stare right at me when you were talking about ad clear aficionados, man?
No reason.
But yeah, it's like when you bring them into the higher difficulties of the mode, then it's like, oh, hey, you remember where those waypoints were? You were able to memorize it. You have this like memory. Now you can come in and execute at a higher level. It's aspirational content.
Yeah. Here's actually a good example of one of our shepherding mechanics that we've introduced. So basically, we hear a lot of people say like, oh, I want to take my friends through the dungeon that have never been before. A lot of these traversal sections can be really challenging. So in this section of Spire of the Watcher, for example, once one player gets to sort of the midpoint of this traversal section, we have these helper platforms that rise up from below, so that a player who's maybe struggling a little bit with that section can follow along.
Dude, who wants to carry me? Wait, that's actually so good. This is so like new player friendly and I love it. So instead of like having someone struggle, if somebody runs ahead, they can activate it and the platforms come up and they can just jump on it. And it's gonna be like an easier jump than like the original jumping puzzle. Or you could still decide to do the original jumping puzzle. That's really cool. I like that.
And continue to make progress forward.
Yeah.
Even though they may not have been able to execute the jumping part.
Yeah. Even a warlock can make it through.
Even.
I'm throwing shade. Guardian Games is coming up. I gotta go ahead and get my jabs
You
where
just
I can.
call out the
So
warlock.
I think I want to put Nix on the spot.
Yeah.
As players are going through this, like we have a bunch of rewards, not just for Explore mode where you're getting the normal drops and all that, but overall through this event. So
Oh, yeah. Well, you get 5 new emblems.
emblem for you.
There it is. Yeah, collectors, get ready.
An earnable weapon cosmetic and a hoity-toity title, event exclusive title that you can get from doing some challenging challenges in ultimatum mode.
Yeah, it's gonna require a
Okay, did she mention? Okay, a weapon cosmetic thing. I'm pretty sure that hints towards a memento. Just saying. Just saying. I think it's a memento. It has to be a memento. And 5 emblems is a lot of emblems. I can't wait to see what they look like. That'd be so cool. If they're like similar to like pantheon emblems, where they're boss related or like dungeon related specifically.
a lot of participation, I think we were talking about before the show. Like, these are not ones you're going to be able to earn right away. It's going to take some time.
Yeah. It's gonna take some blood, some sweat, some tears.
Yeah.
Maybe an ambulance ride, everybody.
In your daily playthroughs, it's like, here are my weapons, but then you have the overarching goal of like emblems for the collectors or the title, so you can show off in the tower like, I'm the dungeon delver. We don't have the name solidified just yet. But
It's not locked in.
It'll
it's not
come.
locked in.
All right, cool.
It'll
well,
be
I'll
fun.
tell you what. Speaking of things we do have locked in, so we've taken a little bit of a look of what's here at Act 3. Dylan, I'm going to go ahead and take this chance to put you on the spot. Starting very soon, or if not recently, Moments of Triumph are back as well.
So
Oh,
we just walked
yeah.
through. Sorry, I just put that down. So
That was very authoritative, yeah.
yeah, we just walked through like, here's what's coming in Act 2, here's what's coming in Act 3, and then here's what's coming with Rite of the Nine later in Act 3. Right now, if you're so inclined, Moments of Triumph just started, like what, an hour ago, 2 hours ago?
Yeah.
We have some cool rewards that you can earn as you're prepping up for the next acts, as you're getting ready for what's to come. Cool cosmetic ghost. There's going to be a sparrow that's going to be really fun to earn.
Nice. Actually, I think we can take a look at those really quickly
yeah.
as well. There we go. All right, there we go. There.
Perfect.
I
So with Moments
love
of Triumph
the
every year, we
ghost.
basically celebrate the previous year of content.
my
Ask players
gosh,
to go
that
back
looks
in,
sick.
check out your triumphs, get some of these things done, do some grandmasters,
I love
raids,
the
etc.
ghost.
Yeah.
And then you can earn some free cosmetics in the game.
Very cool.
On top of that, we also have our yearly Bungie Rewards T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I think I own
go.
6 of these at this point, maybe 7, but this is the
Nice.
2024. And yes, I'm going to call
take a
this
look.
out for my friend Matt. 2024, because it's the previous year, not 2025.
Yeah.
T-shirt, which is really fun. We have a sample here in the studio.
I like
Thank you again,
it.
Natalie. Very excited. This, I believe, is a large as well. Let's make sure. Yeah, large. So basically my size. I'm 6'1".
Yep. There we go.
But yeah, you can get your customization on the sleeve of your gamer tag or your player name.
Very nice.
I
And
like
then
that
when you're
so
walking
much.
around in the outside world, people can see you for the nerd you are.
Yeah.
Shout out to the individual who yelled Dead Orbit forever when I was walking around in my Dead Orbit t-shirt the other day.
Very nice.
But yeah, very frequently it's like you see people in their raid jackets, you see people in their Moments of Triumph t-shirt. And then when you purchase any Moments of Triumph related, the t-shirt, the pins, anything like that, there's also a special emblem. It's a gift with the purchase. So in-game, you get a little bit of swag too.
That's really cool. I always
Wow. Okay, wait, that emblem is actually so freaking cool. I think I need to get both the shirt and the emblem. That is so cool looking. I love the dragon vibes. They did such a good job. Holy crap, this is amazing.
love those shirts because it's like,
Dang.
going to a PAX or something, it becomes this like hidden secret language where you're looking around and see people with their different Bungie Foundation shirts on or their different Moments of Triumph shirts on, and you kind of give each other just a nod as you walk through those hallways.
Yeah, so it's like you have your in-game Ghost Sparrow, but then when you're going through Rite, it's like, I have my title. In real life, it's like, I got my title.
Yep.
I got it on my war vest, I got my t-shirt,
Earned
etc.
it. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, everyone, we have had a very big show today. And so that I think about leads us to the conclusion. is what I would say if we didn't have just one more thing to share with you. So obviously, we've touched a little bit on some of the stuff that's going to be arriving with Act 3, and we actually have a sneak preview also of a currently in development limited time PvP mode that will be joining Act 3 as well.
What?
I
PvP
will go ahead and
mode?
just throw it up here on screen. Let's take a look. Everyone, we'd love to introduce you to Heavy Metal. Heavy Metal is a opportunity for you to go ahead and take out a team of Drake tanks against a team of Brigs, so you can test to see
No way.
you know, whether you're good behind the barrel of a gun or behind the barrel of a Brig. But this is one that just the playtests, pardon me, have just been absolutely insane to watch.
No
I'd
way,
say
you can
since
play as
day one of
tanks.
Beyond Light, players
That's
saw the
so
Brig come to the
awesome.
game.
Yeah.
They're like, when do I get one of those?
Fair
and
question.
this is the answer from
You can play as a Brig and as a tank. How freaking cool is that? Excuse me? What the heck? What's to play? I'm so down. Oh my
the development
gosh.
team.
Yeah.
But
This is
we had
so
to make it a little
cool.
competitive. Guardians have had their Drake tanks since Destiny 2 launched.
Yeah.
They're really fun. Let's see when you get into matchmaking who can come out on top.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were
This is one
planning
that,
this.
we're very much looking forward to unleashing upon the community, but as you can tell, the Drake tanks and Brigs alike provide some pretty unique tactical opportunities that we're looking forward to seeing getting into the Guardians' hands. But yeah, this one has just been an absolute hoot to see in development, honestly.
Yeah, and when it comes to like, this is a PvP thing, we say competitive, but this is a goofy, like, this is fun. You're sitting down on a
Yeah.
Saturday night, you're chilling with your buds, and it's like, let's hop in a tank and try to do some 360 no-scopes while we, like,
Yeah.
boost off of a ramp.
Yeah, we just finished a raid. Let's have a palate cleanser here and just have a good time.
I want to
together.
go for a move.
This is so cool. Yeah, it's definitely, I agree, it's definitely more of a goofy thing, but because of that, I feel like it makes it so much more funnier. I love this. Dude, you could play as a Brig. I mean, we've definitely had tank gameplay, but we've never been able to control a Brig before. What?
Movie of the week. Why don't I hop into a Drake and try to get a triple kill? Like,
Chance.
yeah.
That's
There weren't
so
enough
cool.
sick flips in that raid.
Yeah.
Get out there on my Drake tank.
Just how many 360 no scopes can we get into this thing? We'll find out. Does the Drake tank have a scope? I don't think so. But yeah, that's something we'd be remiss if we didn't take a chance. Sorry, off screen they just did a huge jump as well. But we'd be remiss if we didn't take a chance to show that off to all of you. So that, for real this time, concludes our show. So a huge thank, of course, to Nico, Quentin, Morgan, to Nix and Rodney, and of course the one and only Mr. Dylan Gaffner there for joining us today. We
Well,
really
thank you
appreciate you
for
guys taking the time to tell us a little bit more. Sorry?
Thank you for hosting.
I'm also here. But of course, more importantly than even me is our fire team in the back of house. We've got Peyton, Ashley, and of course,
You are
my compatriot on
just
social
as
media,
important.
Mitch, out there helping us go ahead and do the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Thank you a ton for joining us, as always. To the crew here in the house that puts on the show and has to deal with the likes of me, thank you all so much for your time. We really appreciate all of your help. And of course, we'll also, pardon me, ask you all to go ahead and stick around for just a little bit longer, because before we conclude the show, we're going to go ahead and raid Bergen's Star. So do us a huge favor. Stick around for a little bit, join the raid, give him a follow, and tell him we said hello. We'd appreciate that. So today we covered a lot. We went through the activities coming with Act 2, such as Court of Blades, the continuation of the Barrow Dyad quest line, some new weapons joining the sandbox, took a bit of a look ahead at Act 3. There was a lot for this one, everyone. So, of course, more than
There
anything,
was.
we know you all are very busy. We appreciate being a part of your day, and thank you all so much for taking the time to join us today. We do appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun to get to put these on, but they don't matter unless you show up. So thank you. So in the meantime, from all of us
So
here to all of you out
kind.
there, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you all Starside.
I love it! Oh my gosh, can we talk? Hold on. I don't even know where to start talking. Oh my goodness. That was phenomenal. Definitely a big shout out to the entire Bungie team, everyone that was in the live stream. Thanks for literally showing us so much good content that is coming out. Definitely let me know what you guys think about everything that is coming out. I'd love to hear about it. I'm so excited for Guardian games. The jersey looks amazing. Act 2 looks amazing. I'm glad to hear that there's going to be a new activity. I am less mad about the whole Eris storyline stuff, just because they kind of hinted that we could possibly go to that throne world as well where she's in, and that sounds fun. As long as we get to pull her back out of it. So I'm definitely intrigued on what the storyline has to offer and the continuation stuff. The weapons look so fun for literally all the activities that they showed today. I will definitely be having guides out for the Barrow Diet SMG, the exotic one, that is going to drop as well with Act 2. We get to have 2 new perks. Definitely excited for that. All of the stuff in Act 3, I'm so glad that they were able to tease us some stuff from Act 3. I'm still really intrigued and really want to know more information on what's supposed to happen later this year. Just because we're already in Act 2 almost. So I am really wanting to see what's going to be happening after that. But maybe they're going to do another live stream towards the end of Act 2 maybe, and we'll get to see more previews of so on new DLC or something like that that's supposed to happen. But oh my gosh, the 2.0, the 2.0 Into the Light stuff, that looks so fun. I'm so excited and so looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. Biggest thank you to you all for coming into my video and watching. I appreciate it so much. If you haven't yet, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Shout out again to Bungie and the entire team, everyone that did the live stream. That was super fun to watch. I loved it. I was actually hanging out in stream chat today, so I saw a lot of you guys in my community in there. Thank you so much for reaching out and saying hello and chatting. I loved seeing everyone's reactions on so many of the things that they mentioned today. I'm so happy that so much stuff is coming out. I'm super, super excited to play all of it. But yeah, thank you so much for coming in and watching. I appreciate it. I will either see you in a future live stream on my Twitch channel, where I do a bunch of raffles for many different activities, or I will see you in another video here on YouTube that is either a guide or some sort of other video. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!